and we're going to start off with Charlie. Charlie Derbyshire. Charlie, very nice to meet you.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us this morning. Tell us a bit about you, and tell us a bit about what your plan is.
Yeah, I'm a composer and sound designer. Um, and I've recently moved to Kendal from Oxfordshire. And well, I am from Ulverston, but back in the area. And I was at the Art Gene event in September, and I met quite a few people. And I thought that it would be really good to have a regular, just kind of event where people can just chat in person, and anyone in the arts can talk about what they're up to, meet other people doing it, share kind of moans and hopes, maybe make friends, maybe make some collaborators. Because I think that when you work in the arts, it's often quite different from other kind of work, and it can be difficult for other people to relate to you. So if you want to moan about a lack of inspiration, that's difficult for someone who's doing a regular job to kind of relate to. And it's good to talk to people who are kind of in the same boat, or trying to get your art heard or seen or whatever it is. So that's the plan.
Okay, and are you one of these people that sort of in your career has sort of reached out beyond your own, artistic practice to try and network and collaborate a bit more?
Yeah, well, I haven't done much art and music for about 15 years. So yeah, in my 20s, I had a recording studio in Ulverston. I used to do quite a lot of music and wrote a lot of music and sound engineering and that kind of thing. And
What sort
then
of things did you work on?
I was about to say nothing good, but um, just lots of independent people around the area, and then because I was doing that full time, I had to do a lot of stuff that I didn't really like, which was writing music for jingles and all that kind of stuff. I did, what did I do? I did some singing sheep for the Lake District years and years ago. That
Did
kind
you
of
say
stuff.
singing sheep?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I did that. Just anything that would pay me really to get some money to pay the rent. So you know how it goes. And then I would work on like projects myself and independent things. So that was quite good.
And what brought you back to this part of the world?
Well, I set up an education software business about 15 years ago in Oxford, and I've got family here, friends here, and I sold the business, and now I've got some time to do some art.
Okay,
And
and with the arts meetups at the brewery,
yeah,
what's the sort of plan? Is it sort of 3 month plan, see how it goes, and then maybe continue it, or what's your thinking?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to keep it going really, but yeah. So we've got the first one's on Wednesday, the 28th of January, which I think is a week on Wednesday, 7 p.m. till 10 p.m. Oh yeah, thanks for the link.
Okay,
Um, and there's going to be some free drinks and pizza, and Miriam Randall, who runs the brewery, is promoting it and has helped me out. And so yeah, we're going to run it for 3 months, and then well, I've already got quite a lot of people signed up, so it looks like it's going to be quite good.
fantastic,
Yeah,
fantastic. Chris and Jenny Dennett are lurking there. Do you know this man?
Yes, as for Charlie's underselling himself there. Bright Blue Studios was Ulverston's only recording studio for many years. When he left, somebody else took it over, but it's recently closed. So it's a huge miss. That kind of really got so many local bands up and going locally. And yeah, the Crazy Sheep. Do you remember the Crazy Frog craze? That ringtone in the early internet. It feels like really another planet now. But Cumbria Tourist Board. Ellis Butcher there was like, yes, we need a crazy frog, and got Charlie in to make the Crazy Sheep as a little ditty. It was a hit, wasn't it, Charlie? I seem to recall.
Yeah, it was. It was crazy. It was weird. I was on the radio in Australia and all over the place, um and I think we butchered a Wordsworth's Daffodils as well, and did a kind of hip hop version of that. That was to kind of
Improved it, Charlie. I
improved
reckon.
it. Yeah, that's right. And then we got a guy dressed up in a squirrel costume to MC Nuts to dance around and do a video. Yeah, it was quite good.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I'm working on short films at the moment. So I've written it. I've written the music first and sound design for a couple of short films. Got another one coming up, and
Okay.
I'm doing a lot of. And I do some stuff for art installations. I just went for Chris and Jenny last year. Or maybe
Yes. Yeah, recently, when we did the Relaxing to 2050 exhibition at Signal Film and Media in Barrow, we needed a sort of, Barrow does Sigur Rós, something uplifting to put one in an emotional state to imagine that the future could actually be all right. And Charlie was our go-to for that, and took sound bites from children at Sailcroft playing in the waves, people just headlines that we had, the lovely Lady Anne Hopper, formerly of Radio Cumbria, doing her best BBC, talking of whale populations increasing and passing by Wally Island. And Charlie took all these disparate elements and made this beautiful soundtrack that really did work. We had some of the feedback were the reduced to tears, sitting in the geodesic dome, imagining a Cumbrian future that would have whales and more nature and happy children playing. And that was thanks to the emotional musical string pulling that Charlie managed to put together.
I saw it. I saw it and heard it. It was beautiful. Really, really beautiful. I was just trying to read Charlie's face. It's quite difficult on Zoom when someone's quite small. I was trying to read Charlie's face as Jenny in particular was waxing lyrically about the crazy sheep. And I just couldn't quite work out what he thought about it really. But there we go.
Well, it was, when you get a brief for something, like I just did a horror film, and so it's got to be the most unsettling music possible. That's great. Whereas this was supposed to be the most irritating music possible. So it was like, what are the most irritating sounds, the most annoying hooks, the most irritating bass line? It was a really weird project. It's quite satisfying, really. Quite good.
All right. So well, I wonder whether we could try and find that crazy sheep thing before the end of this call. I have no idea whether anybody wants to take up that challenge. But Charlie, thank you. So the first meeting, as I said, quite well looking, numbers looking good already. End of January. There's a link, I think, in chat. And I just salute you for doing it, because I'm just a huge believer in getting people together to enhance knowledge and actually sometimes collaborations and work together and make beautiful things happen. So I hope it goes well for you, Charlie. Thank you for letting us know about it, and good luck with that, and good luck with all the other stuff that you're doing, which sounds really interesting as well, by the way. I wouldn't not have a clue how to write horror music for a horror film, but I think I know a man who probably does now. Right, okay, thank you very much, Charlie. Let's move from Kendall to Mark. Now, where is Mark? I'm just looking for Mark on my screen. There, you just got your camera off at the moment, Mark, but I'm sure it's about to come back on.
Yeah.
Mark is are you there, Mark?
Yes, I am. Yes, just slow on the old clicking on the button.
That's right. Where's home for you, Mark? Where are you this morning?
Just outside Carlisle.
Okay, great. Mark, I'll let you introduce yourself and what you do, and Iona will pull up your slides. From time to time, it's just great to hear from an artist, a creative on this call, just to talk about what it is they do and what it is that they do to make the world a better place. And Mark is a unique artist, as you can tell already by that first picture. So Mark, I'll hand over to you. A great opportunity, 15, 20 minutes. Let's sit back and listen to Mark talking about what he does. Over to you.
Okay, well, thank you, Tom, and thanks, everybody. Happy New Year to you all. Yeah, my name's Mark Gibbs. I'm a professional artist and arts educator. My work connects with our ancient bond with animals, and I use that to explore history and its contemporary relevance. I describe my work as extreme making, but what I mean by that is what I do is actually quite simple. I just take it to really extraordinary lengths. So there's nothing complicated about twisting wire, and you can see the horse's sort of body and skeleton is made from twisted wire. But I do a lot of twisting wire. I take it to really, really months of work. You'll see in some of these pieces twisting wire. And I seek to elevate humble materials to tell quite big stories. One of my rules is that my work must have sentiment, but no sentimentality. And another one of my rules is that whether you like the work or not, it must have an undeniable presence. That's really my main thing, an undeniable presence. So the work talks about some big stories, in particular, remembrance. And this piece here called The Burden of History is about the service of the British Indian Army in Mesopotamia, which is now Iraq, in the First World War. And I'll talk more about these themes later on as we go on.
And what sort of size is that, Mark? What sort of size is that model?
It is about 40 centimeters wide. But I'm very keen sometimes to show my work as if it was huge, because I would love to do life-size work. And in fact, originally, all these horses came from a commission for a Roman cavalry fort in Chester's. And the commission, I was going to do 6 life-size ones. I was going to work for a blacksmith. Didn't actually come off, but I thought I would sort of start this project anyway. But yes, it's one of my ambitions actually to scale the work up, but you need the right people to work with and the right location. Yeah, so next slide, please, Iona. Yeah, so like many artists, I want the work to speak for itself, and that's really important because the exhibitions I like, they have something amazing to look at, and I'm not interested really in exhibitions where there isn't much to look at and the artist statement is huge. Having said that, I do think it's important to be able to marshal words well. And I've been investigating different ways of doing artist statements. Now, all the ideas that I'm going to show you in words already exist in the work, but I have found it quite a useful thinking tool. So if you look on the left-hand side, you've got some words around horse. So why am I interested in the horse? Well, there are all of these different contrasts. So, for example, elegance and brutality. Horses are amazingly elegant animals. War is incredibly brutal. So there are all of these contrasts in the work. History and myth. Much of my work is about history, and all the equipment, the bridles and things like that, is very accurate. But I'm also interested in the mythology, the mythic aspect of a man or a woman on a horse. And a big theme of my work is remembrance and celebration. So you're going to see quite a bit of the work which is about remembrance, and later on I'll show you some work maybe taking a slightly different, more celebratory or mysterious tip. So I've got 10 slides, and we're on slide number 2, just so you know, not testing your patience. Beauty and ideas, that's something I'm really interested in. It's really important for me that I'm interested in work that has a hook, is really engaging visually, but it must contain ideas. So I'm sort of working on that sort of tagline. I've exhibited across the UK and internationally. I'm a member of the Lake Artists Society. I was elected an associate of the Royal Birmingham Society of Artists. And say internationally, I've exhibited in Amsterdam, Gibraltar, and this year, and actually last year, I exhibited photographically in Sao Paulo, Brazil. So that's a little bit about different ways of, that's a bit about me. It's a little bit about using words to using words to help my ideas, get my ideas straight. Of course, my way of thinking is by making. That's my natural way. I think by making. Next slide, please. So I'd encourage you all, if you can, to go and see Reg Ed 25. It's a marvellous show at the Reg Ed Centre. It's on at the moment, and I'm very proud to be included as one of the 25 artists in this anniversary exhibition. The image you can see on the left, it's one of my sculptures, which I'm going to talk about shortly. And then you've got some images from the private view. It is a fantastic opportunity for me because it allows me to display my 2D and 3D work next to each other, and quite a lot of pieces, 12 pieces. So yeah, if you're interested, please do go and see it. And almost all of the work that you'll see in this presentation is actually there at the moment. Okay, next slide, please. So the image, the little image, the historic image photograph on the left-hand side has inspired me and has inspired a lot of the work that I've been working on for years, actually. It's from the Australian War Memorial Archive, and it's of a soldier of the Australian Light Horse Brigade in Palestine in 1918, part of the Palestine campaign. It's a campaign the British Army and the British Indian Army and other colonial forces in the Middle East. It's a story that's almost completely forgotten. And I think it's important, and I'll talk about some of the reasons why I think it's important. So a soldier on a horse is a archetype of power, going right back to, to British Museum. Well, they're on chariots then, but going back thousands of years. And yes, this is a sort of falls into that heroic archetype, but I find it more interesting because I find it a very moving image. I've done a little bit of research. The soldier's name is Lieutenant Holland. His horse is Champion, and this picture was taken by his friend Lieutenant Crumb, who was the chaplain of this particular regiment. And these details and there's details about it which show a compassion as well, and it's not just a heroic image, there's something else, and I like these sort of contrasts. It's inspired a whole load of work, including this painting that you can see, which is painted, it's called Empire's Promise, and it's painted over a layer of ash. It's actually a miniature, and sometimes I'm really interested in scale, and sometimes the work's quite small, but it deals with really big subjects. You can see, perhaps you can see the star theme, which is starting to come through my work. Stars appear in the flags of many countries, and stars are a navigation guide, and perhaps many countries have lost their way very badly. I'm interested in our colonial history, and I'll talk about that a little bit more, so deconstructing it. So next slide, please. Yeah, so this sculpture, which is in the Reggae exhibition, is called Hero, and it depicts a medic of the Australian Light Horse Brigade. You can see his medical bag. I'm showing you this because I thought you might be interested to see the range of materials used in the sculpture. Got everything from recycled wire, string. I make a lot of use of tin foil. The uniform is kitchen paper mixed with some tin foil. And for example, the horse's socks is white insulating tape. So if you think about equestrian sculpture, you'll often think about, a king or a general in the city square done in bronze, heroic image, a power image. I'm interested in elevating humble recycled materials to tell the story of lower ranks. So humble materials, humble people, but part of a big, big story. Yeah. Next slide, please. Continuing that theme, another image that is inspired by that Lieutenant Holland photograph. The dark areas in this painting are poppy seeds, and the symbolism of materials in my work is really important. My work is obviously about remembrance. I wear a poppy. I don't wear it with pride because I've done nothing to defend my country, but I think it's important to wear one. And it's up to other people what they think and what colour poppy they wish to wear. I do think, though, that we should think more about our history, and wearing a poppy shouldn't be the end of our reflection on peace building. I feel that we need to consider our history more and consider what we can personally do to build peace. So poppies come from the fruit of conflict. Maybe if you thought about the roots of it a little bit more, maybe we'd be in a better position. The splats at the bottom of the image are oil, oil paint mixed with engine oil, and I use the word oil. I emphasize the word oil there. So next slide, please. So as well as horses, I make birds, an example of extreme making, because the feathers are made from paper. I make them feather by feather from paper, on papers, and one of the rules is that they're the same size as the real bird, and they do follow the camouflage of the bird very closely, but they have images embedded within the feathers. So this bird is an Egyptian nightjar, which is found throughout the Middle East, and it's a nocturnal bird, and maybe soldiers serving in the Middle East might have heard it chirping away in the desert. The feathers have the battle honours of the British Indian Army embedded into them, plus images from Amnesty International, contemporary images of political prisoners from Amnesty International, and other information as well. I was absolutely delighted to be invited to present my work at the Global Nightjar Conference, which is an international conference of nightjar, mainly scientific researchers. And it was a wonderful thing to be a part of. Everybody, researchers from Japan, South America, and the UK, all over the place. And I just thought it was a really interesting and wonderful thing, a rather unknown bird, bringing people from around the world together. Next slide, please. Oh, hang on. Yeah. So recently I've been making work. I've been trying to explore handling different stories, not all things about war. Maybe looking at more celebratory, or certainly the more mythic elements of connections with horses, and also female riders rather than the male soldiers. This piece is called To Catch a Star. I'll talk about it more in the next slide. But this is my stand at the Manchester Art Fair. It was a great thing to do. I was proud to be there. So, next slide, please. Yeah, so here are some of my recent work. The horses are actually traditional ceramic, a fired ceramic, which is a new thing for me, and I'm learning process of learning how to do it. And the rider is a tinfoil, cling film, and other recycled materials, including a Christmas decoration. I'm looking at different stories to tell. I'm investigating different stories. So not so much stories about conflict, but I am interested in the work, continuing the bond between horse and rider, but particularly thinking about working horse traditions around the world. I'm not very interested in leisure riding or even sport riding. I'm interested in working horses. So this, you can see a sort of gaucho thing going on, although maybe the riders have got more to do with a Velázquez painting. So mixing and matching ideas, maybe thinking about the mythic element, and you can see stars starting to appear in the work again. So I think that's, could I have the final slide, please? Yeah. So if you're interested in finding more, here are my social media and website. I'm really interested in connecting with creatives, and I'd be very interested in any collaborative projects that you might be interested in progressing together. So please do contact me, and I'd be very interested in your conversations and your ideas. So thank you so much for the opportunity to present my work.
Mark, thank you so much. What beautiful pieces of work. And
Oh.
I don't know how long does it take you to make a model?
A long time. It's very intense. So it can take 6 weeks or 2 months, and there's an awful lot of twisting wire going on in that time. But that's not what takes the time. What really takes the time is, first of all, thinking about the proportions, because if you think about life drawing, drawing a person is hard enough. Then putting them on a horse.
Yeah.
Getting all those proportions is difficult. But even so, once you've done even that and double, triple, quadruple checked that, what really takes the time is, does it follow my rules? In other words, does it have the impact? Does it have a content, not just shallow beauty? Does it have undeniable presence?
Yeah.
Can I make it more? That's what takes the time.
And have you, pardon me for my Luddite question, but have you ever ridden a horse?
Yes, as a younger person, I did quite a bit of riding. Yes.
So is that what sort of, the horse thing, is that kind of where it started for you, do you think?
There's always a connection there.
Yeah.
So there is a connection there, but it's been quite a long journey because I've done birds. I did, when I first came up to Cumbria, I did a whole load of cows, and I briefly lived on a farm, and then I did sort of went northern animals and did wolves and a whole series about the Arctic and reindeer and things like that. So my work has for a long time been involved with animals, and then I suppose I've slowly, as you do, you get, your work goes down a certain route.
Yeah. People just saying in chat there, the nightjar is beautiful.
Oh,
Helen says she's seen the photos before. Chris saying, really beautiful work. Love the use of humble materials and depth of meaning added by the use of the poppy seeds. Inspired. And Kate saying they're very beautiful sculptures. I agree. I've been to the Reg Ed exhibitions and seen your stuff there, Mark. I've seen your stuff in various other places as well. And it's, one thing that stands out for me about it is it's kind of different. It's unique. There's no one else doing stuff like you're doing it that I'm aware of anyway in this part of the world, let alone anywhere else. And I think that in itself is just great that you're doing something different.
Thank you. Well, yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, great. All right. Well, as Mark says, how long is the Reg Ed exhibition open for? Is it another couple of weeks or so?
Until the 2nd of February.
Okay.
So if you're in Cumbria and interested, it's not just me, it's 24 other artists. There's something for everybody. It's free to get in. I really recommend people coming along and seeing it. Yeah, the next thing for me after that is the Borders Art Fair, which is in second week of March. So again, if you fancy a trip up to Kelso, come and say hello.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you very much indeed. Right. Okay. So because we're on this funny old Zoom call this morning, we're just going to pause this call again, and I'm going to invite you all to leave this call and come back. But the reason that you need to come back is we're going to watch a lovely little film, and we're going to hear about this fantastic Hullabaloo project from Hand Pick Productions. So I invite you to leave this call, come back here on the same link, and you won't be disappointed. So this is the final part of the call, which we're recording again. And this is where we find out about the Hullabaloo project. And I'm going to hand over to Anna to start with, I think, Anna Poole.
Me?
Shall I hand over to Anne or Anna? Who should I?
I was wondering, Anne, do you want to start just to give a quick overview, and then you
Okay,
go from there?
Happy to do that.
We've got your film lined up that we got sent through
Okay.
by Debbie. Off you go.
Great. So thanks for having us today. The Mid-Winter Hullabaloo is a project that came out of several years of research, really. So we started the research back in 2022 when we were asking communities about what cultural activity they engaged in, what were the barriers, what types of things they used to engage in that don't happen anymore. And what communities were telling us was that the cultural events at particular moments through the year that really marked that and communities came together were disappearing. So things like carnivals, things like Whitsun walks, where communities came together and they shared that time. People felt that they were disappearing. And so the Mid-Winter Hullabaloo as a project that we developed in November 2024, kind of responding to that research and looking at creating a very, I suppose, a micro gathering within communities that brought people together. And it very much focuses on place and people. And so that's where the Mid-Winter Hullabaloo came from. So from September, when we received funding, so it's funded by Arts Council and through local government, through UK Shared Prosperity, we commissioned 3 artists. So we commissioned Anna Poole, who you're going to hear from, who is our composer, and Anna has written the score for the event. We commissioned Emma McGordon, who has written a new play for the event, which is very much based on a Mummers style play. And we commissioned Janice Murray, who's a visual artist, and she has created what we're calling the light effigy. So it's a representation of what the hullabaloo means. And all of the work that those 3 artists have created have come out of working with communities. So they've all been into community groups and into schools and gathered ideas and thoughts from everybody we've worked with, and that has all been put into the hullabaloo. So that is what you're going to see at the events if you're able to come along, which we very hope people will. Do you want me? Is that enough? Should we go into the video and then I'm
Yes.
here so I can hop on and answer anything else?
Let's do that. So so the video is a summary, I think, of what it's all about.
I feel energy, I feel energy, I feel. 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 A ball is just a dance you do, and there's just Hull without an Alaboo, and that's quite dull to carry round with you. I feel energy, I feel energy, I feel where it's quiet. I feel energy, I feel energy, I feel where it's quiet. I feel energy, I feel energy, I feel where it's quiet.
That's lovely. So Anna, do you want to pick up? I think I saw you playing a guitar towards the end of that film.
Oh, you saw me doing a lot of stuff in that. I was like, oh, there's piano playing. There was frantic arm waving, sort of getting my whole box of tricks out there. Yeah, so there's that was like a little taster of so many of the aspects of what the actual event is going to look like. And there's sort of 3 distinct parts that have kind of come out of it from discussions with so many school children and lots of different community groups of different ages. And I think Emma might speak to that a little bit in a minute. And the first bit is a parade. So there is this sort of element of carnival, element of gathering together and sort of singing songs and together and carrying this effigy of what the hullabaloo means to people. So I don't know if you saw there was the children were sort of putting things inside the material pouches that were at the beginning of that. They're almost these baubles that represent what the hullabaloo means to people on it, and they will be hidden. I will say, I don't want to ruin the surprise if anyone comes, but they are hidden away, and it will be unveiled. This sort of sculpture will be unveiled as part of the performance when we reach our destination. And when we reach our destination, we will be performing this kind of newly written Mummers play that has been developed with Emma and lots of other groups that she's been talking to. And so there's been loads of amazing points to develop music alongside that. So what you saw at the end with Trickster, which is Dave Camlin's band, but people on this call I'm sure know of Dave, and they're playing one of the sets there that you saw. That's a new score that's been written to accompany the Mummers play, and quite a lot of that score came out of working with multiple primary schools and doing sound mapping of their communities and their places, so Cleatormore, Egremont, and Moresby. And we sort of created these maps of, if I was a visitor, if I was the Hullabaloo, if the Hullabaloo was a monster or a creature, what would I hear? What do you want me to hear? So I took a lot of these things that we created, and they're all in the score, so you'll sort of you'll be able to sort of hear what they are. This week has been lovely, going into school, lots of those schools again, working with those children, the same children who helped create the score for the play, and start to write. I love doing group songwriting. It's a big part of my practice, working a lot with people to create work in groups, create new songs in groups. And we've created a series of chants because, of course, when we go on our parade, we need to have something to sing and something to bring us all together. And so, yeah, let's just say West Cumbria rang out yesterday with the sounds of a load of new oggy 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 type chants, but created using elements of the Hullabaloo. They're really different. It was so interesting working from yesterday. I worked from year 3 all the way through to year 6. So you can imagine that quite the engagement and the kind of level of essential poetry that they were writing was very different. So we're going to be teaching those on the day. And then, yes, in terms of the piano work, I've also written this little song that you saw me playing on the piano in that little video, that was sort of written as a bit of a warm-up, a joyous kind of warm-up, bringing everyone together song, because there's something about singing that can be very scary for people, because I think it's a very natural human state to sing, but it's something that's often we are told that we can't do it. And I suppose from quite a young age, there can be moments where I've, in my experience, found that boys in primary schools, but particularly once they get to about year 5 and 6, are often more reserved and told that they can't sing, and they start laughing at each other, and it's all kind of wound into that. So it's been really exciting.
You're sort of unraveling some of that and enhancing people's confidence and belief that actually it's fine and you're going to sound great.
It's fine and it's fun. Like it's been really lovely. It was really lovely to start watching people. I've really felt over the last couple of days, and maybe Anne, you could speak to this too, because you were there, but seeing them encourage each other and enjoy it, because we took it, it's meant to be really fun, and something that we can and celebratory, and it was lovely to see people really gradually lose a lot of their inhibitions, and by the end we had sort of 11-year-old boys dancing around and asking if they could if I could take requests on the piano. So what's been lovely is that it's not just next weekend's results, which are the 3 shows in the 3 places, that are the results of this piece. We've actually seen growth and joy, to use those kind of words, but we've actually seen that we've achieved in those workshops just by because lots of our participants will have tried new things, which has been great.
Come back to you in a second, Anne, and maybe Emma, you might want to say a few words about your role as well. Chris, have you got a question there? Or Jenny? Was that just a random hand that's gone up?
It wasn't. It was enthusiasm. I was like, wow, it sounds amazing. And also thinking with my Radio Cumbria hat on that, Anna, you need to come on to talk about it if somebody's not already booked you. But I'll be in touch.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Anne?
So I just picking up on what Anna said. I mean, I think particularly when we went into school, so I just added up yesterday because I like to add my statistics up. So from October to now, we will have delivered, by the end of this event, we will have delivered over 40 workshops, and we will have worked with over 900 people just in the creation of the event, which I think for me is incredible, and certainly more than we had anticipated to work with. And I think partly that's because when we went into schools, usually you go into school and we say we only have the capacity to work with one class, and schools have to choose. But because we had 3 artists, the schools wanted us to be able to work across Key Stage 2. So I think that's really enabled that, and it's also enabled more people to feel a part of it, which is just brilliant. It would be, and I just wanted to say, because I didn't put this in the introduction and I should have done, but I think Mahogany Opera are a partner with us on this project, which for me is just brilliant, because I've worked with them for a long, long time. But I think the fact that we're working jointly on this piece is really lovely, and that it's in West Cumbria as well. So I know that Freddie is on the call.
Yeah.
So Freddie, just do you want to say something about it, and then Emma, we can come and hear from you as well.
Here comes
Hi,
Freddie.
everyone. I'm going to keep my video. I've got a very bad signal. I'm on a train. God, I'll give you a sneak. I'll give you a little sneak. Hello, I'm on a train.
Are you on the continent somewhere, Freddie?
I'm in Germany.
Off you go. Tell us your input and how you've had a role.
And we've just stopped, so the guy's going to make a big announcement about us being stopped in German. So I'm sorry about this, but yeah, I mean, I'm down as the director for this show, and it's been such a privilege working with, I mean, Anne and the handpicked team. They're such a fantastic group, and Anna and Emma and Janice have been the most amazing artists and collaborators. The depth in which they've really gone into the whole thing, and the seriousness with which they take the work with working with communities. I've learned a huge amount from them and have been really inspired by them. And I just, it was lovely just to see all of your responses and positivity to the project. It feels like it really strikes a chord. And I think someone said in the chat, it feels like there's a kind of movement at the moment across the country for kind of wanting to connect more to the seasons and to the kind of the yearly celebrations and bring people together at these particular moments. And this is something that Mahogany Opera wants to do more of. And we've done a lot of work with communities and kids in particular, but this feels like we're going on to the next level, which is really exciting.
Thank you, Freddie. That's lovely. And I hope your ticket's in order on the train. Emma, what was your role in all of this?
So I worked with the same schools as Anna. So we're in Cleatamore, Moresby and Egremont. And also I worked quite a lot with community groups as well that were in those various places. And I was tasked with writing a play. I'd never heard of a Mummer's play before, so I had to do a bit of research into that. And it is kind of loosely based on a Mummer's play, but it's my interpretation of that. And I've developed a play where there are 3 characters of those places. So we have the character of Moresby, character of Egremont, and the character of Cleatamore. And they are all searching for this elusive hullabaloo and where we might find it. So yeah, we have done all the groundwork and all the research and then creating stuff. But yeah, the big thing is going to be the actual sharing of the work and seeing how people respond, because obviously it's the three nights that we're doing, and it'll be amazing to see as many people come along and see those things as possible. There's going to be food, there's going to be music, there's going to be the play. It's just going to be a really big get together, we hope. Something nice for the end of January when it's a bit cold and miserable, and it's a nice way to get together and kind of and look at those places. It's hyper local. What I've written, it wouldn't work anywhere else. The jokes are very much rooted within those communities, and we're lucky we've got 3 actors who have connections with those communities as well. So it's going to be very much for the people of those communities, but we'd really like to welcome everyone else in as well and share it with
them. Thank you very much. Sounds fantastic. So Anne, just to finish with, just remind us of when and where.
Okay, so it starts next Friday at Moresby. So Friday the 23rd of January, we will gather at 4:30 p.m. at Moresby School, and we will parade to Moresby Rugby Club, where everything else will happen. Okay. On the Saturday the 24th of January, it's in Egremont. So we're going to gather at Egremont Castle and parade to Egremont Market Hall, and that is the venue for everything on that evening. And then on Sunday the 25th of January, it is Cleaton Moor. We will gather at 4:30 outside the library on the town square, and we will parade around the town square, and then everything else will happen in Cleaton Moor Civic Hall. So you can get tickets from our website. I put a link to the website in, but I didn't actually explain why I did that. It's in the chat, or you can go on social media. So food is included in the ticket price. But yes, please do book, because just so we know how many we're catering for if you want to come, and we'd love to see you all there.
Great.
Oh, and can I just say, I've also put in the chat, Tom, sorry to interrupt. We're desperately seeking a sound technician. So if anybody knows anybody that might be available to help us with those events, it's a really simple setup, but we do need a sound technician. It would be great to hear from you.
Okay, and we'll stick that out on our socials as well and see if we can find someone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It sounds great and sounds just different. And as Emma said, I think to have something this time of year is great to have, something to look forward to and just embrace. Thank you to Charlie and to Mark and to all the people from Handpicked talking about that project as well. It's been a really interesting call this morning. Thank you for your patience with switching Zooms as well. Next week, we're going to hear from Leslie Harris, who runs Northwest Music Academy in Barrow, reflecting on Barrow Music Weekend, which took place just before Christmas. Sam Nichols is part of a band that's going to be wandering the fells of Cumbria in the spring, like troubadours, playing in different locations and passing socks around village halls to pick up some money. We're going to hear from Sam. And also a man who makes puppets of elephants, giant elephants, is coming to Cumbria. We're going to hear from him as well. So all sorts of things to look forward to next week. In the meantime, thank you for your time this morning. Great to see you all again. And have a good weekend, everybody.